Sure. Yes. Hi, my name is Dior Burns Egan, and I am the Executive Director for Buckner Children and Family Services.
It's a pleasure to meet with you. And again, my name is Aaron Nassis. I'm the coordinator for employer relations here with Texas Women's University. And this is our career spotlight journey. So I will go ahead and kick it over to you to get us started if you want to kind of take it from there, and then we'll get questions in at the end.
Great. Yes. So Buckner Children and Family Services has been around for 140 years. And we are international as well as all over in Texas. And so really our support center is in Dallas. But we do have services obviously here in the Houston area. So we have a Family Hope Center located 59 North Aldine area. And then we have one that's pretty close to TSU, which is going to be off of 288 in Reed Road, which is another Family Hope Center. And so we do a variety of things. We really work with families from life to death. So we do foster care and adoption. Then we have Family Hope Centers that really work with families as a whole, really at-risk families. So we help them to become independent, successful, and just advocates for themselves and their families. And then we also do senior living care. So we do have a facility, a residential facility for seniors at Parkway Place, which is off of I-10 in Aldridge area. And then we also do a lot of philanthropy projects. And so one of our largest humanitarian project that we do is something called Shoes for Orphan Souls. And really where we basically collect brand new shoes and we get the opportunity to take those into other countries where we really start a conversation of how we can walk alongside of these families and, be able to provide assistance for them. And so we actually have Family Hope Centers in 7 different countries. So Kenya, Honduras, Guatemala are just to name a couple of those.
Wow, what an incredible reach.
Yes, we're so excited that we get to do this. Yes.
Is that often that you all get to run that program?
I'm sorry?
Is that often that you all get to run that program, that one specifically?
Yes. So really, anytime somebody does like a mission trip or anything with the church, they can always ask us for shoes to take with them. And so we're able to do that. So we're collecting shoes all throughout the year. And we have a huge humanitarian aid center in Dallas where we keep all of those things. And so really, it's a great opportunity anytime somebody gets to go to various, countries and things like that, orphanages, whatever that might look like.
Fantastic. What a great opportunity. Again, I'm sure one of many efforts that you guys are continuously working on, it sounds like.
Yes, constantly. So, locally here in the Houston area, every school year we give out 1,200 pairs of shoes. And so it's something that you don't think of, but there is such pride when you get to start a new school year with a new backpack and new school supplies and those brand new shoes. And so we just want to give everybody, kiddos that just best chance of that new year and new, kind of outlook on life.
I remember that being like some of the best memories, walking into class, ready to show your friends,
Yep.
your teacher, your new backpack, and
Yep.
shoes too. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So it's pretty exciting.
Do you have any presentation that you'd like I can make you host, or anything that you wanted to kind of present, share your screen?
No, I don't have anything to share on our screen, but just kind of want to talk a little bit more about the types of jobs and services, that we do here locally. And so we have, like I said, Family Hope Centers. And so in a Family Hope Center, we're really working with at-risk populations. They're traditionally very community centers that are in impoverished neighborhoods. And so really working with those families, we have a grant with the city of Houston where actually we work with families that are coming out of Child Protective Services. So they're families who have been reunited with their children, and we are helping them to stay together. Really, that's our hope, even though we do foster care and adoption, but of course, we want to try to do as much preservation work as possible on the front end. And so really working with these families to provide adult education classes, things like GEDs, parenting classes, financial literacy, just to name a few. So it's really equipping the families to help them to become independent and really independent of the system, right? So a lot of the families are, sort of locked in just because of child circumstances, life circumstances, generational poverty. And so it's really just how do we change the generational mindset, and then how do we make a permanent change? And Buckner is really about giving a hand up, not a hand out, because we want you to teach you how to fish, right? We don't want to just keep giving you the fish. And so how do we do that? And so it's really taking a holistic look at the person, but then the entire family. So the same things that we're teaching our parents, we're teaching the children in our after school programs. So we have a teen enrichment academy, and then we also have a children's program, and great relationships with the Houston Food Bank and things like that. So we're teaching them those same type of skills. We have banks that come in and teach kiddos from really young, how to save, right? So here's a piggy bank, and here's how we need to look at, how you spend your money. And then helping transition our teens into adults, because not everybody's going to go to college. So what does that look like, right? And so those are kind of what our Family Hope Centers do. The other thing that we have here in Houston is our Pathways program. So our Pathways program is designed for single parent families that are pursuing higher education. And so it's a great opportunity for us to help pay for housing to allow people to get that secondary education. And so it is a 2 to 4 year program. So if somebody is going for their associates or somebody wants a 4-year degree, really we kind of walk alongside of you, and just help you to be able to achieve those goals, help with scholarships and networking opportunities, counseling, so forth. And so we do have openings currently. So if any of your students find themselves in that position where, they're, in school right now and they have kiddos and they're single and they just need an extra, hand and supportive environment, that's something that we can offer through our Pathways program. And so we have internship, opportunities all the time that we're looking for interns to come. And so we have a variety of opportunities that can either work in our teen program or with our volunteer engagement or, as social work interns. And then, of course, we always have open positions that we're looking for great candidates. We have several of your alumni that work at our locations. So we are very excited to hopefully have more that, apply and are, looking for great opportunities.
That's amazing work. And so glad to hear our alumni have made a home with you all.
Yes, we are too.
Coming from the population that we have and the population that we serve, I can see a lot of our alumni finding a home in purpose in the work that you all are providing. So
yes.
I'll go ahead and start with our first question on here.
Sure.
And, one of the most important things that I hear from both students who are entering the workforce, any of our future alumni, is how does your organization advocate for or celebrate diversity?
So we definitely celebrate diversity. And so it's been a huge initiative from our president and CEO, Dr. Albert Reyes. And so we definitely celebrate all different diversities and communities. And so part of that is really we want the people that we serve to, we want the people that work for us to look like the people that we serve, so it's not going to make anybody feel welcome if, you don't see anybody that looks like you. And so it's really important for us to be able to celebrate that diversity, to show that, we are a family and we're home to our families that we serve. And so it's very important for us to make sure that we, help people feel comfortable in those types of environments. So we are always looking for lots and lots of diversity, and definitely celebrate that, because like we said, we're all over the country, different countries, Kenya, Guatemala. So we definitely welcome whoever comes our way.
That's amazing. Thank you for that. I think one of the most important things, following up with this next question, kind of leads perfectly into it, is that, many of our students may be facing or are facing a challenging economy and a more competitive job search. And I'm just curious, what tips would you provide to any students that watch this spotlight for us?
Sure. Yeah. So right now, the job market is a very interesting place. And, we've all heard about this whole great resignation. And, unfortunately, Buckner is not immune to that right now. And, that's good and bad. I mean, of course, we want people to stay with Buckner, but We also understand that people have dreams, and right now everyone's like second guessing their careers, right? It's like, okay, where do we want to go? So I think it's a great opportunity for anybody who's in the job market, right? There are so many jobs available right now. And so I just think that making sure that you stand out from the rest of the candidates. So I totally recommend doing cover letters. It's very important to make yourself stand out and sort of give a personal history, especially if you are a new student, or you're just now graduating. You may not have a lot of work experience. You don't want to get overlooked because you don't have that experience, right? So how can I give you a short bio in that cover letter to get your attention and let you know I'm passionate about the work I do? So I would definitely recommend that. The other thing is make sure that you ask up front in interviews about the benefits, and just ask about all the things that are in addition to salary information. What else do we offer? And for Buckner, we have great benefits. And we also have 401k where we do matching. And so I know as young, when I first started out, I wasn't thinking along those lines, but now I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such a great opportunity and benefits. We also offer hybrid schedules right now because we know that's kind of a new work-life balance and how we're able to offer that. And so, I just think it's important that you do ask those questions. How do we set ourselves apart from other jobs that are maybe offering similar salaries, but what are the perks? What are the extra benefits that are offered through that job? And then, when you're in the phase of, maybe getting offered the job, don't be afraid to kind of push back and ask for more, and don't accept that first offer, because typically there's always a little bit of negotiating room. So I'm not going to try to give all my secrets away, but there usually is a little bit of wiggle room. So don't take that first offer necessarily. Don't be afraid to kind of push back a little bit.
Those are fantastic tips. Wow. I wish I had known about asking more towards the benefit sides of things and really gone for it. So any future students, guys, ask about what other options there are out of just salary alone.
Exactly.
To hold down a comfortable, quality of life. It takes a lot more than just, upfront money. So
yeah.
Okay. So what do you look for in potential candidates? And where can students go to view available opportunities within your organization?
Sure. So we are looking for candidates that are not just looking for a job. We really want candidates that are committed and dedicated to the work that they're pursuing. And so we know in the social work field, it can be very challenging. And so you can't really just have the mindset that it's just a job and I'm just going to clock in and clock out, because social work, again, it is worthwhile work, and it is phenomenal work when you see those transitions and those transformations happening. And so we're just looking for passionate individuals that really want to make a difference, that are career minded, that do want to move forward and move upward, and really want to see change within the community that they're in. And so I think also people that are well-rounded. It's important to make sure that we have people that have good experiences, some great life experiences. So sometimes when you don't have as much work experience, if you have life experience, it makes a difference, right? And so people in places where you've done internships, where you volunteer, I think all those things are really important. So don't shy away from maybe not applying to a job because you don't have that at work experience. But if you have volunteer or, other ministries that you've been a part of or anything like that, I think it's a great thing to make sure that you mention, because well-rounded people really do make a difference when you're looking at jobs and the type of people that you employ. So I would recommend that for anybody who is looking for career options. It's always changing, so make sure you bookmark the page. But you can go to www.buckner, which is buckner.org, and then /careers. And so, there's places, again, all around Texas. So if you're looking to get out of Houston, there's other places within Texas. And then, of course, there are lots of remote opportunities as well. So,
something to rehash on real quick is just the fact that you've opened up your doors to being a hybrid operation and looking at the work-life balance. again, for a golden nugget for all the students out there. There are not a lot of companies who are, as adoptive as it sounds like you guys are. A lot of people are still showing up to offices, and for our introverts out there, for people who are also just trying to have more of a home life, maybe a parent, an older generational student may need that hybrid time and that work-life balance. It seems like you guys have really gone out of your way to say, you know what, you take that. That's a great opportunity given everything that's going on. I'm so happy to hear that. So
Thank you.
of course, yes. I'll wrap it up with the last question, and it kind of be
Sure.
Q&A back and forth if you wish, and anything we can have and add to it. But the last question I have for you is, do you have any recruitment events that students can attend?
Unfortunately, right now we do not. And so it's definitely something that we're working on that we haven't traditionally done in the past, but we know that, as a 140-year place, we need to get with the times sometimes. So we are definitely trying to work on that. So that's why I would just recommend continuously just checking back with us. And so, just reaching out to us and, taking a tour, and just kind of getting a little bit more familiar about who we are, but just definitely checking online for as those career opportunities pop up, because they happen every week. Something new is popping up in different things. So whether you're in the social work field, or if you want to work with children, early education, any of those things, HR, admin, accounting, you name it. We're not just a social service agency. Of course, we have all the background information and those careers like accounting and IT and all that, right, that we need help in. So just definitely recommending checking the page constantly.
So what I hear is great entry-level opportunities for
Yes,
from home benefits and lots of opportunity for career growth.
that's right. Yes, we love to promote from within. And it's something that we value, is that people, for the most part, they're there with Buckner for the long haul. And so we have plenty of people that have been there 30, 40 years, which is not something you hear of very often. And so we pride ourselves on that, because, there are lots of great opportunities to move around. We do a lot of cross training. And I know here in the Houston area, as executive director, for me, training is very, very important, making sure that we're continually equipping our new staff with lots of training opportunities to make sure that they can move forward when other opportunities present themselves.
And I have a personal question, something that
Yeah.
may be helpful for, future development of, young minds or within your entry level roles. Do you guys go for any kind of mentorship, or have someone who's kind of close by to be able to assist with someone who just started?
Yes, no, that's a great question. So that is something that we have implemented within the last year, is that we do match everybody up with a mentor. And so it's making sure that, we're getting you accustomed to Buckner, but then also vice versa, right? Buckner is getting accustomed to you and sort of those best practices. So that way, if you are new in the job market or just new to Buckner, it's not just learning the job and good luck to you, but how can we really walk alongside of you, just like we do our families? We have to make sure our staff are equally equipped, and making sure that you guys are successful. So we definitely believe in mentors, because it does make a difference.
I absolutely agree.
Yes.
If I had known to be more proactive in asking for mentorship or asking for more connections that I could always rely on when I'm learning something new, software
Exactly.
to, office politics to how things are supposed to be done and what people are looking for in projects or results, etc. So it's
Exactly.
great.
Well, and the other important part, I think that, every job or every company has a certain culture. So, right. So even if you're really good at your job, if you don't always fit in or get used to the culture, that can be just as much of a challenge. And so you might be really great at your job and find that you don't like it because for whatever reason, you just are not adjusting to the culture. So I think that's where the mentorship is so important, is just helping you understand, just kind of what sets that company apart. So.
That truly does. The fact that you guys have gone so far is to realize that fact and make it a very inclusive, really taking the I in DEI environment. Kudos to you guys. That's amazing.
Well, thank you. We certainly appreciate it. So we always would love to welcome new TSU alumni. So just keep us in mind, and we just thank you so much for this opportunity today to talk about Buckner and we look forward to hopefully hearing from some of your students.
Yes, and I know we'll continue to build on partnership to all of our students, watching and tuning in on YouTube or through separate channels. We build partnerships like these, things that are great opportunities for both entry-level role, for growth opportunities, and again, with our social work majors and people who are looking into that world, this sounds like a great opportunity to just reach out. Like she said, just be proactive. And that is something that says a lot about you as a person looking for a job or looking for networking opportunities. And it sounds like the doors are wide open. So,
Yes, they certainly are.
well, thank you so much for your time as well. It's been a pleasure, and we'll wrap it up here.
Great. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.